Let's see who's turned up in accident and emergency.
And watch out for a gross alert.
Today, waiting in Alderhayes A&E with his mum is 10-year-old Casper with a troubled tibia.
I broke my leg about a year ago, but recently it's just got really sore. This morning it got worse and I ended up here.
Looks like that leg's in limbo. How did it happen?
1 year ago, it was a beautiful sunny day.
Beautiful.
Birds were tweeting.
Tweet, tweet.
Flowers were
Dancing.
Yes, OK. And Casper was playing in the garden with his friend Magna.
Ooh, what were they playing?
They were running around blasting foam darts.
Pow, pow, pow! Sounds like fun.
It was, until Casper tripped over a tree root and broke his leg.
Ouch!
Oh.
A year later, and that leg is still causing problems.
And now it's started spraying out yellow stuff and now white chunks of gravelly stuff.
That's no laughing matter, Casper.
Best get that grim limb in to see Dr. Ashok Lal Ramavak.
So we need to examine the wounds and see how it is.
It looks horrendous.
That's right, Mum. Gross alert coming up.
When Casper first broke his leg, he had an operation.
And doctors discovered he had a tumour which they removed.
Can you wiggle your toes for me?
To strengthen his leg bone, they inserted a metal plate.
What, like this?
Yup, that's the one.
And Casper was also given a bone graft.
A bone graft is a surgical procedure when bones need repairing or rebuilding.
A very special material, a bit like moulding clay, is put into the bone.
It holds the bone in place like scaffolding and encourages new bone cells to grow.
Sometimes, like in Casper's case, the material can leak.
It's nothing to be overly concerned about, but there could be an infection.
So the doctor orders bloods to be taken.
1, 2, 3, go.
And x-rays.
OK, brilliant, that's great, we're all finished.
If there is an infection, Casper may have to have surgery to sort it out.
We're going to keep him in tonight to see how things fold up tomorrow morning.
For now, Casper's got other things on his mind.
Dinner and sleep.
My thoughts exactly.
Not yet, Xand. Find out later if he does need surgery.
Casper had an operation to fix a hole in his bone. Now, your bones are a totally unique material. There's nothing else quite like them, and so you need really special stuff to fix them. And today, we're going to find out how that special stuff is made. Come on, you lot. This is Imperial College in London, and scientists here are working on incredible new medical treatments. Professor Julian Jones is working on new ways to fix our bones. And it all starts with this, a piece of glass. I would have thought that glass would be the very worst thing in the world to repair bones with. It's brittle, it chips, it's sharp, it's not very strong. So either you're crazy or you can explain how it works.
Yes, that is glass, but it also is a special glass called bioglass, and it has special powers. If a surgeon takes that and puts it into the body, it will form a very tight bond to bone. And it also tells the cells in the bone to get active and produce more.
So the glass actually talks to your bones, your broken bones, and says, needs mending over here.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Bone can heal itself really well, but sometimes with a big hole, it needs some help. Bioglass can do this by bridging the gap and giving the body's own cells something to hang on to and make new bone. Bioglass is made from the same raw materials as window glass, except it's got lots more calcium, which is good for bones. Well, I think we need to see some glass get made, don't you? To make bioglass, the raw materials are measured and weighed and then mixed together before being superheated in a special furnace to 1,400 degrees centigrade. This turns the solid sand into a molten hot liquid. Oh, wow. That is very, very hot. That is amazing. So in here now, this pile of sort of white rubble, that's bioglass.
Yep, it's been quickly frozen into place by the water.
This is brand new bioglass. It's then dried, sterilised and ground down into a very fine powder, ready to be used as bone-fixing material.
So what the surgeon would do is take some blood from the wound and then just apply it, a little bit of it, to the glass and then sort of make a putty.
All those proteins and cells in the blood will clump the grains of glass together, so it ends up like putty, like chewing gum almost.
Yeah, and then the surgeon will just press it into the hole in the bone, and then over a few weeks, months, the bone will repair.
So if your research goes according to plan, in my lifetime, I will see dramatic changes in the way we can treat people's bones.
Absolutely.
Professor Julian is also working on a type of bioglass that can be printed. Its specially designed shape means bones could heal even better. And he's developed a bouncing bioglass.
This is glass, but it doesn't break, it bounces.
Yep, unbreakable glass.
Amazing.
This could replace cartilage, the stuff between your joints.
Bioglass is amazing stuff, and it's in hospitals right now, helping patients like Casper who need their bones fixed. And the best news is, scientists are working on even more applications for this amazing stuff. Thanks, glass.
Over in Accident and Emergency, 10-year-old Isabel is with her mum and dad. What's happened?
I've hurt my wrist/arm.
Well, how did you do that? The sun was shining and Isabel was playing in her garden on the trampoline.
And who's that over there?
Ah, that's Sven the guinea pig.
Who's the marked happening?
And Benji the bunny.
Whoa, dude, cool moves.
Isabel was having a whale of a time.
She has a whale too? Yippee!
No, Xand, she was having loads of fun until she lost her footing and landed on her arm.
Ouch!
Meet Mr. Asad Qureshi.
And your qualifications?
BSc, MBBS, MRCS, MSc, and soon to be PhD.
What a smarty pants. You're in safe hands, Isabel.
Do they feel okay or do they feel tingly?
Them ones feel tingly.
So these two?
Yeah.
But these ones feel normal?
Yeah.
Isabel's struggling to move her third and little fingers. Plus, there's a wound on her arm. Time to get into X-ray and see what's going on.
That's perfect.
Whoa! That's quite a break. Let's see a close-up.
It's a double break.
This fracture is significantly displaced, which is why we need to proceed with an operation to fix it.
One of the broken bones also pushed through Isabel's skin, which leaves her open to infection.
We need to give you some antibiotics and we need to do an operation.
So we're just going to put this on, okay?
Isabel's op is booked for first thing in the morning, so she needs a temporary cast to make her more comfortable.
And she'll stay overnight in hospital.
Night-night operation out.
Night-night.
Find out how Isabel's operation goes later on.
Earlier, Isabel came into the emergency department with a double break in her arm.
Isabel was jumping on her trampoline under the watchful eye of Sven the guinea pig and Benji the bunny.
Unfortunately, she slipped and landed on her arm.
Ouch!
X-rays revealed that Isabel needs surgery. She's been given an anaesthetic, so she'll be asleep for the operation and won't feel any pain.
Surgeon Jim Browsell is a man with a plan.
First on the list is giving Isabel's arm a good scrub.
Here comes a gross alert.
Even the inside of her arm needs a good wash.
Next step is to realign her broken bones, and this is the really clever bit.
We're going to fix them by passing wires down the middle of the bones so that they line up and they'll heal properly.
This is a flexible nail. It's a long piece of bendy wire.
Gross alert time! Dr. James puts the flexible nail into the middle of Isabel's radius bone.
He then pushes it down through the break to reconnect the two halves of the bone.
Fix a bone yourself in our Snot Apocalypse game.
This is then repeated with Isabel's ulnar bone, bringing both bones into line.
Here are the flexible nails inside Isabel's arm. Now her bones are straight and in the perfect position to heal.
These nails will stay in her arm for a few months and she'll have a plaster cast for 6 weeks.
How are you feeling, Isabel?
I'm feeling a bit better.
And what about that trampoline?
I'm going to keep trampoline it.
Well, there's no arm in it, if you're careful.
Not that joke again.
Bye!
At the emergency department in Liverpool, 7-year-old Ava is waiting with her mum. What have you hurt, Ava?
Me hand.
Ooh, your finger's looking swollen. How did that happen? Ava was happily jumping on her trampoline with her mate Chloe, but it all went wrong with the crab.
It was that wicked pirate, Pincers O'Krabby. OR.
I'm not sure.
It was. Listen up. I I've had a proper thinky. I know how she hurt her pinky.
No, Xand.
Ava was doing fancy landings, so amazing at the old handstandings.
Stop!
In came the crab with his pincers
no
ready.
pincers, oh crabby.
Oh, all right then.
Ava went from a handstand into the crab gymnastics move, and she bent her little finger back. Ouch! You won't be doing that again in a hurry, will you?
The dogs have sent Ava straight to X-ray to see if there's a break.
Get ready for your close-up, Ava.
Fantastic, Ava. That's you all finished, okay?
Thank you.
Time to find out what the damage is.
I'm really nervous.
Well, don't worry. Here's Nurse Jenny Cardis.
When it comes to fixing fingers, she's a dab hand.
Here's Ava's x-ray, and looking at her x-ray in this view, you can see that she has a fracture to her middle phalanx of her little finger. You've got a little break to the middle bone there. So I think I'd like to get her assessed tomorrow morning, if that's okay. The plastic surgeons will assess her and they'll decide whether or not she needs some kind of intervention and maybe surgery on it.
Ava's little finger is temporarily strapped up, and she'll be back to see a surgeon tomorrow. Bye, Ava.
Bye.
Next morning, she's back. And here's Surgeon Pundrik Sama to look at this dodgy digit.
If we follow the edge of the bone, boom, something not quite smooth.
So, does Ava need an operation?
I don't think everything's bent sufficiently out of shape that we need to do an operation.
Phew, no operation needed here.
But you do need a splint and cast.
Any final questions?
What's your favourite TV programme?
Obviously Operation Ouch, Ava.
That's the correct answer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's this one all wrapped up.
It feels weird.
Or is it?
Bye.
Find out later on.
Remember Ava? She had her finger fixed in the emergency department.
And now she's back.
Ooh, she's hurt her back.
What? No, she hurt her finger.
Why do you mention her back?
What, she's back in the emergency. Let's go find out how she's getting on. Earlier, Ava came to A&E with a very painful pinky.
Ava was doing gymnastics on the trampoline with her friend Chloe. She went from a handstand into a crab and she bent her little finger back. Ouch! Ava's x-rays showed it was broken, so her hand was put into a cast.
Perfect. That's a job done and dusted.
Not so fast. 1 week later, Ava's back.
It really hurts with the cast on.
And here to help is advanced nurse practitioner Simon Minford.
Let's take it off and have a look and see if it's okay.
Sometimes casts are just a bit too snug, so they need to be removed.
Do you know what you can do now?
Wash your hands.
Yes, please.
Thank goodness.
It's a good job they don't have Ponga vision.
Phew-wee!
What's next, Nurse Simon?
We're going to give her a bespoke plastic finger splint that will still keep her hand in a good healing position, but also not quite cramp her style too much.
Sounds cool, and to show us how it's done is senior physiotherapist Joanne Moore. First, she draws around Ava's finger to make a template.
And you thought you were coming to therapy, not an art class?
Then Joanne takes a sheet of plastic and cuts out a small section.
I need to put it in some hot water, okay? Because that will make it go nice and soft. It's going all floppy.
Now it can be cut to size and finely shaped to fit Ava's hand.
Is it too hot?
No, it's fine.
It's okay.
Awesome. Ava needs to wear this splint for a couple of weeks.
And the best bit is, Ava won't have a stinky hand this time.
Pong-tastic.
Bye, Ava.
Bye.
Waiting in the emergency department with her mum is 12-year-old Jess.
Looks serious. Jess is inhaling gas and air. What happened?
My ankle, twisted and it really hurts.
Yep, her ankle's facing the wrong way.
That looks painful. Let's find out more.
The sun was shining and Jess was with her friend Kenzie.
What were they doing?
They were jumping.
Jumping over buildings?
It wasn't parkour, Xand.
Oh, they could have been jumping in space.
They weren't astronauts. They were jumping on 2 trampolines in Kenzie's garden.
Oh, and did the trampolines have safety nets?
Unfortunately not.
Ah, I think I know what's coming.
Yep, safety nets might have stopped Jess and Kenzie climbing on top of a fence.
Oh no!
And jumping onto the same trampoline at the same time. Uh-oh!
with Jess landing awkwardly on her ankle.
Ouch! What do you reckon, Jess?
Dislocated, I think.
Let's see if she's right.
Here to jump in is Dr. Tim Osborne.
Can I have a look at his ankle then? When she first came in, I could see that it was dislocated. The ankle was twisted off to the side. You can see where the bone's pressing up against the skin. We're going to have to get this ankle back into position. So we've got the gas and air going now. We'll give you some sprays up the nose. Try and get the pain under control.
The nasal spray will help relieve the discomfort Jess is experiencing.
Dr. Tim cuts off Jess's leggings to manipulate her ankle back into position.
Good girl. Big deep breath. Superstar. All right, well done. Jessica was pretty brave. She didn't complain at all. We got it back into position. She coped with it really well.
Jess gets a temporary full leg cast to make sure she can't move her ankle at all while the docs assess if she's got any breaks. Off she goes for x-rays.
OK, I think we're all finished. Well done.
Dr. Tim checks out the results.
When Jessica's dislocated her ankle, she's broken through the bone on the inside, which holds the ankle joint in place, and that will need an operation to fix it.
Dr. Tim has to break the bad news. Find out later how Jess gets on. Back in the emergency department, Jess needs surgery for her broken ankle.
If only there was some way we could find out what they're going to do.
There is, son. Come with me.
Earlier in the emergency department, Jess came in with an ankle in agony.
Jess and her friend Kenzie were playing on trampolines in the garden.
They both climbed a fence, jumped onto a trampoline at the same time.
And Jess landed awkwardly on her ankle.
Ouch! What's going on, Jess?
I've been here overnight and I'm waiting for my operation on my ankle.
Looks like Mum's been making her a balloon buddy.
Herbert the giraffe dog.
All right, Herbert, smile for the camera.
I just love Herbert the dog.
So do I.
Jess leaves Herbert behind while she has a CT scan before her surgery.
This will give the doctors more detailed images of her ankle, which they will use during the operation.
She heads off to theatre.
And look, Herbert's gone along for the ride.
In charge of the operation is consultant Mr. John Cashman.
First, he looks at the detailed CT scan, a 3D picture of Jess's ankle.
He can see exactly where the break has occurred.
He also notices a piece of cartilage has come loose. Ooh, that needs removing too.
In the operating theatre, we made a hole in the joint, we cleaned out, there were some loose fragments of bone and cartilage which we removed.
Mr. Cashman uses an X-ray camera to help guide him as he drills a hole.
And he sticks in a screw which will hold Jess's broken ankle bone back together.
With Jess sewn up and surgery over, she has a new plaster cast fitted.
This will be on for 4 weeks.
What have you learned, Jess?
It's to not jump on trampolines off of fences.
Good idea. And a net on that trampoline, please.
Time for Jess to head home.
Go on then, off you go.
Oh no! There she goes.
Bye! But bones can go wrong too. In the lower half of your leg, you've got 2 bones. The tibia, which is here, that's your shin bone, and then a smaller bone off to the side, the fibula, that one there. It's easy to break these and it's quite common. Footballers do it, skiers do it, you probably know someone yourself who's done it. And it's also quite easy to fix this usually. Doctors will pull the leg straight, put it in a plaster cast, and you can be almost as good as new in a few weeks. But what happens if you don't have a plaster cast? But take a look at this. This person broke their leg 200 years ago and they didn't see a doctor. Now, it's a terrible break. He would have been in terrible pain and he would have had a very bad limp. But what's incredible about this is the bone has actually regrown and tried to fix itself. So we know from that that this guy lived probably for several years after his injury. Amazing. How much does the average adult skeleton weigh? Is it as much as A, 1 car tyre, B, 5 BMX bikes, or C, 15 bricks?
The answer is A, 1 car tyre. Our skeleton only makes up about 15% of our overall body weight. The rest is our muscles, guts and blood. And talking of skeletons, now it's time for Investigation Ouch.
So what do you think the inside of a bone looks like? This
is an animal's thigh bone, and I'm going to cut it in half and show you.
You can see how amazingly strong bone is by the fact that I have to use a saw to cut through it.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, look at that, that's perfect. So it looks like rock, but actually, your bones are as alive as any other part of your body.
Inside the bone is a web of fibres, and that's what gives bones their amazing strength. These spongy fibres can absorb lots of pressure, meaning our skeleton is one of the toughest parts of our body.
So bones are incredible, but they're also incredibly complex. And in here, engineers are growing them.
Meet engineering expert Dr. Michelle Oyen. She's so interested in the structure of bones that she's built these robots made out of Lego so they can make artificial bones in a lab.
So Michelle, why are bones so amazing?
Bone itself has really fantastic physical properties, especially for something of its weight or density. It's really stiff, it's really strong, and it's really tough, resistant to breaking.
So Michelle, what are you doing here?
We're dipping a screw into 4 different beakers. 2 of them just have water, and the other 2 have some protein from your body, and also some calcium in one jar, and in the other jar we have some chemicals called phosphate.
So the little piece of metal there is being dipped in these liquids, but you're getting a solid bone out of it.
Yeah, it's forming, it's growing itself as we dip, so we go over and over and over again, and the layer gets thicker and thicker and thicker.
So why are you doing this?
For surgeries, you could take a screw, which are used in surgeries when you have broken bones to hold your bones together, but the biological cells in your body don't really like the metal. And so if you put a bone coating on the screw, then those cells would basically not see the metal.
But Michelle is an engineer and thinks she can take her homegrown bones and make something much more spectacular.
We're interested in building things, and so we think it's got a lot of applications for maybe making skyscrapers.
That's amazing. You're actually taking the kind of inspiration from the human skeleton to do something completely different with it.
Absolutely, and it makes sense because we've evolved over millions of years, and this is the structural material that holds us up, so it absolutely makes perfect sense that we might be able to make new things where it's holding them up.
In fact, remember the web-like pattern of fibres we saw inside the bone earlier? Well, it's this same pattern which was the inspiration behind the structure of a very famous landmark, the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Isn't it amazing to think that one day we could actually be living in buildings made out of bone? But these are small beginnings, and after 24 hours, this is the result of the robot's work in the lab.
So it really looks like a real bone, doesn't it?
Yep, because it's made of the same stuff.
This tiny bone is the final product, and it's almost exactly the same as the bones in your body, but there's one crucial difference. It's not alive, it's inanimate. The bones in your body have living cells in them that allow them to grow and mend if you break them.